Am I audible? So we'll start, sir.
Hmm.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Good morning, one and all, and respected the HOD of Political Science Department Chairman, PG Council, Professor T.K. Das. Then respected my teacher, Professor Shamsundar Acharya. He's a member of the Board of Examiner. Respected Professor Ramkrishna Pradhan. Respected the coordinator of this department, Dr. Roshni Kujur. Then respected Professor T.S. Barik and Professor Balgovind Babu. Respected Dr. Roger Kumar Kujur and my dear students. So today we are here to for a on Viva open Viva verse of my PhD scholar Mukti Sahu, who has worked on locating federalism in India, a case study of Mahanadi water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Uh, Basically, in this work, he has tried to search the Indian federalism. Can we say that India is a federal state? Right. So that's the question he has, addressed in his thesis. So he has studied the conflict relating to Mahanadi water distribution between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Right. So by studying the conflict, he has theorized the Indian federalism, or he has examined the Indian federalism in its practice. So with it, with the permission of the head of the Political Science Department, Chairman PG Council. So with it, may I invite the candidate, the PhD scholar, uh, Mr. Mukti Sahu, to start his presentation on this topic. Sir?
First of all, a good morning to all of you. Esteemed Head of the Department and Chairman PG Council, Professor T.K. Das, sir, the Chairman of the Board of Examiners and my supervisor, Dr. Himanshu Sekhar, sir, Professor Shamsundar Acharya, sir, Member Board of Examiners, Professor Ramakrishna Pradhan, sir, Member Board of Examiners, Professor Balgovind Babu, sir, Professor T.S. Barik, sir, Dr. Roger Kumar Kujur, sir, Dr. Roshni Madam, PhD scholar of the department, and dear students. So my name is Mukti Sahu, a PhD scholar of the PG Department of Political Science and Public Administrations. So now I am going to present my paper or research work on the locating federalism in India, a case study of Mahanadi river water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Sir.
Okay, let me help you.
So my research work intend to understand the practice of Indian federalism, and towards this purpose, I have studied the conflict over Mahanadi water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And conflict has happened at the level of politics and civil society, and at the level of politics, MLA and MPs are involved, though they talk about the solutions of the Mahanadi water dispute. Yet the issue has not been solved. It seems as if they do not want to solve the issue, seeing their party interest and not for the interest of the states. And at the level of civil society, people's voices and states' interest has been repented. And conflict is not problematic for federalism. In fact, the federalism as a framework requires conflict to solve it. To solve this conflict, federalism divides the government power between central authority and regional or state authority. And these divisions ensure that both levels of authority or government have their own sphere of authority and responsibility, fostering a balance of power and promoting local authority. So, in this sense, conflict gives scope to the federalism to justify its own significance or relevance. And if conflict continues without any vivid solutions, then it means it is a failure of the federalism. And in the context of the river water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh, it seems Indian federalism has totally failed. In fact, and the negative politics over the Mahanadi river water dispute has failed the Indian federalism. And this conflict has neither led towards the establishment of a cooperative federalism, a bargaining federalism, a competitive federalism, and a conflicted federalism. And towards the establishment of federalisms, my research was has taken seriously to the statements of the current Deputy CM of Odisha, Kanak Bardhan Singh Deo, who said that the statement that positive politics is required to solve the Mahanadi river water disputes. And here positive politics means the solution-oriented politics, a politics of substitution, a politics which is good for the community, a politics which inspire hope and trust, and politics that is based on virtue. And there is also the needs of complete depoliticizations. And here depolitizations of water dispute loads the practice of political influence or rhetoric from the disagreement over the water property. So this is the conclusion of my chapter. And to reach this conclusion, I have categorized my research paper into 6 chapters. And in the first chapter, I have discussed about the statement of the problems. And in the Indian federal systems, river dispute as an ongoing issue, a conflict between on users and conflict between the user at the level of head reach, middle part of the river, and tail end of the rivers. And once such river dispute emerged to the long list of the India river water dispute is the Mahanadi river water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And dispute started in the month of July 2016 when the upper riparian state Chhattisgarh they have started some water projects in the form of dams and barrages. And this development of Chhattisgarh is directly opposed by the Odisha. And Chhattisgarh said that we have the first right over the water of the Mahanadi because the river originates first from the Chhattisgarh, and then Odisha state has the second rights. And Odisha government also tried to protest over the issue through the legal fights or the political fights. And after that, the Mahanadi dispute emerged as a conflict between the BJD party and BJP on one hand, and Chhattisgarh and Odisha on the other hand. And to understand the Mahanadi river water dispute, I have also studied some river dispute among the states of the federal system in India. I have discussed the Krishna river water dispute, Narmada river water dispute, then Kaveri river water dispute, and Bansadara river water dispute. And in the review of literature, I have divided my review literature into 2 parts. Federalism and Interstate River Water Dispute, where I have discussed about the water rights and how the conflict emerged in the Indian federal system, what is the role of the federal government, and what is the role of the Supreme Court of India, and how water term has been criticized by the stakeholders. Specifically, water is a item of the state list, but an interstate water dispute is an item of the concurrent list. And here I have also discussed how the interstate dispute create a situation of conflict, a interstate conflict between the states or among the states in India. And in the in the second part, that is the Federalism and Mahanadi River water dispute, I have discussed what is the role of Forum for Policy Dialogue on Water Conflict, who directly involved in the Mahanadi River dispute and who tried to highlight the river dispute in Odisha. And where I have also discussed about the environmental, how it is a great challenge for the environment or the ecological environment of the river, which I have discussed in the second part. And after the river literature, I have discussed about the research gap. And more scholar which I have dealing, which I have studied, that many literature directly deal with the historical growth and development of the dispute, and they have discussed about the political nature of the dispute. And however, the available literature which I have come across have not illuminated the federal implications of the interstate river water disputes. And the available literature that I have found have not studied the debates over the legislative assembly or in our Indian Parliament, and the research work is being undertaken with the hope of discovering the federal implications of the river water dispute, particularly the Mahanadi river water disputes. Then I have also discussed the scope of the study, where I have briefly discussed what are the various mechanisms, assumptions, and government initiative for maintaining and sustaining the federal systems. Though the river water dispute is a upward and downward conflict, it is an interstate and interstate conflict. And where I will discuss the origin, nature, and scope of the Mahanadi river water dispute. What is the attitude or role of the two state or politicians of the two states, and the role of the Mahanadi Water Tribunal, then central role in resolving the Mahanadi river water dispute, and what are the factor influencing the Mahanadi river water dispute. And then research questions, there are some research questions of my study. Then first one is the what is the origin, nature, and scope of the Mahanadi water dispute. What is the role of the political leaders of both Odisha and Chhattisgarh? What is the voice of civil societies or non-state actor to protect the water rights of the competing states? How Indian federalism has been reshaped or shaped by the politics over the Mahanadi river water dispute? The role and effectiveness of the Supreme Court of India in its dealing with the Mahanadi water dispute? What is the role of the federal government in resolving the Mahanadi river water dispute? What are the implications of the Mahanadi water dispute on Indian federalism? And what are the suggestions for improving the federalism among the stakeholders? Then research methodology. This proposed research work is primarily qualitative in nature because the gathered data of this research is non-numerical and has been derived from the individual experiences and perspectives. Since the research work is investigation a situation that is the Mahanadi river water dispute, it is based on a case study methods, and this study has been used both document analysis and content analysis to gather the data. By using the document analysis, this study examined the existing primary sources, documents like letters, photographs, reports, and records stored in the archives, especially extracting information from the already collected data. And by using the content analysis, this study analyzed the words, things, concepts in the text data in order to identify the presence, meaning, relationship of the words and concept. And for the research, both primary and secondary data has been used. And primary data involved the legal documents, various legislative debates, and commentaries on the constitutions, the statutes, the law reports, the government reports, and recommendations of the various committees and commissions. A study report of various research organizations on water conflict in India, the judgment of the water tribunal, and the secondary data involves the journals, periodicals, books, articles, magazines, pamphlets, and newspapers. And so far as the data interpretation is concerned, the proposed research was depends on the legal and institutional approach along with the archival research method. This research work, by using the legal and institutional approach, will study the historical documents and records on institutions, structure, and process of Indian federalism in order to find its due place. Then, organizations of the chapter. My first chapter is introduction, second chapter is theoretical inquiry of Indian federalism, third chapter socioeconomic profile of competing states, fourth chapter Mahanadi river water dispute, nature and scope, fifth chapter role of the federal government, and the sixth chapter one, that is the findings of my study, or the conclusion chapter. And in the chapter second, I've discussed about the theoretical inquiry of Indian federalism, where I've discussed the meaning and connotations of the federalism. Federalism, as you know, the distribution of power between central and state. Then, where I have also discussed about the historical growth and development of the federalism, and Indian federalism historical perspective, where I've discussed the Government of India Act of 1909, 1919, and 1935, and the Constituent Assembly debates on Indian federalism, and federal provisions and working of the constitutions. Then I have also discussed the features of federalism, the system of dual polity, constitutions are purely written in nature, the constitution is rigid in nature, the constitutional scheme for divisions of power, then provisions for an independent and impartial judiciary, provisions of the supremacy of the constitutions, then bicameral legislatures. And in addition to this, I have also discussed about the types of federalism in India, what is the constitutional provisions particularly related to the legislative relations, where I have discussed the legislation on territorial extension, constitutional scheme for the disseminations of the legislative subjects, predominance of the parliamentary laws over state legislations, and control over state legislation by center. And in the administrative relation, I have discussed about the union control over the states, interdependence and mutual cooperation, techniques for the reducing friction. And in the financial relation, I have discussed about the constitutional scheme for distribution of the revenue between the center and states, and provision for grants in aid to the states, the role of the Finance Commission in disseminating the financial resources, and fiscal relationship during the emergency. And chapter third, in order to know what is the nature of conflicts and what is the needs and demands of the states, I have mentioned in the chapter third on the entitled the socio-economic profile of competing states, where I have discussed the location, geography, demography, economy, polity, and administrative setup of both Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And in the chapter 4, that is the Mahanadi river water dispute, nature and scope, where I have discussed about the two implications or two dimensions of the Mahanadi water dispute. And in the nature and scope, in the economic dimension, I have discussed how the Chhattisgarh state and Odisha state, they try to divert the river water to the industrial sector. They have signed a couple of memorandum or understanding with the high-profile industrial sector, how to extract water from the Mahanadi river to the private or corporate sector. They have discussed about the, and where they have also discussed the state of Odisha said that the Chhattisgarh state has constituted the dam and bridge for the industrial purpose, whereas Odisha state is wetting water from the Chhattisgarh for the agricultural purpose. And in the economic dimension, to stop the industrial wrath, a human chain was constituted in 2018 near the Bulla town, where the 25,000 people they surrounded, they run throughout the Bulla town and they fight a chain and they form a chain and they said that we will not permit the industrial wrath to draw water from the Mahanadi river or the Hirakud dam, because this water is not for the industry, it is for the common people or the riparian community who are waiting water for their livelihoods or lives. And in the political dimension, I have discussed about the how the political debates and dialogue emerged between Odisha and Chhattisgarh from 1957 when Hirakud Dam was constituted, and in 1983 when interstate agreement was signed between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. There also a political conflict emerged, and in the 2016, which I have already discussed, where the political party used the Mahanadi issue as the agenda of politics, as an agenda for the politics, not as an agenda for the ecological entity. And in the role of the civil society, in the Mahanadi river water dispute, where I have discussed about the Mahanadi Bachao Andolan, which is organized by Sudarshan Das. The people of Odisha or the local organization, the Mahanadi Bachao Andolan, they have started a protest over the river water dispute. They have also started another program, same Mahanadi campaign, where people, where they have started Scholars Jatra throughout the district or headquarters of the district to highlight the issue of the Mahanadi, how Chhattisgarh government illegally constituted the constituted a dam and barrage for the state without looking the future future life of the people of Odisha. And in the fourth chapter, I have discussed the role of the Legislative Assembly of Odisha in the debates in the 15th Assembly of Odisha Legislative Assembly. I have also discussed the 16th Assembly of Odisha Legislative Assembly. And chapter 5th one is the role of the federal government, where I have discussed the role of the Parliament of India, the Lok Sabha debates on Mahanadi water dispute. In the 16 Lok Sabha debates and 17 Lok Sabha debates on Mahanadi water dispute, the main arguments of the MP of Odisha is to, they demanded a permanent solution through the formation of the tribunal in the Indian Parliament. And they highlighted how the Chhattisgarh government has constituted various barrages without the permissions of the lower riparian states. What is the without the permissions of the central government? And they blamed the Chhattisgarh government. The BJD MP of Odisha, they blamed to the Chhattisgarh government or the central government that there is a close nexus between the center and the Chhattisgarh government, because both parties are run with the BJP government, where Odisha is a non-BJP party or a regional party, that is the BJD government. And in the Rajya Sabha also, there is lots of debate and discussion with the star and unstar questions. And in the role of the federal government in executing the tribunal, where I have discussed about the role of the judiciary in the federal system, role of the judiciary in the interstate water dispute in India, the role of the tribunal on interstate water dispute in India, and what is the Supreme Court. For the first time, when the then Chief Minister of Odisha, Naveen Patnaik, wrote many official letters to the Prime Minister of India and requested him that it is an interstate issue, it is not a small issue for the Odisha. So I requested to interfere the matter and try to form a tribunal for the Odisha. But after the interference of the Supreme Court, the central government has decided to form a tribunal in the month of March 12, 2018. And for this purpose, there are several industry bureaucrat meetings and preparatory meetings were also held. And for the first times, the Chhattisgarh central government said that it is not an issue, but BJP government tried to create an issue for the party benefits. And for the purpose, the central government constituted a negotiation committee with the members of the Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, and Odisha, and 11 member committee. And Odisha government refused that. The Odisha government said that there is no need of any negotiation committee. And Odisha demanded a permanent solution for the formation of the tribunal. And after the interference of the Supreme Court, the Union government made a proposal for the formation of the Mahanadi tribunal, and with the membership of 3 bodies, on 12 March 2018, the central government constituted the Mahanadi Water Tribunal. And after the tribunal, the members of the tribunal, they have conducted a survey in Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And their main purpose is to highlight what is the real demand of Odisha and what is the real demand of Chhattisgarh over the Mahanadi River dispute. What is the use of the Mahanadi River water dispute? In what extent the Chhattisgarh government used the Mahanadi dispute, and in what extent the Odisha government used the Mahanadi River, Mahanadi water. And that is the last chapter, that is the conclusions. So in conclusions, it is found that it is a political conflict, and there are 3 perceptions of conflict. I have found the 3 perceptions of conflict: the perception of conflict at the state level, the perception of conflict at the central level, and perception of conflict at the civil society or non-state level actors. And at the perception of conflict at the state level, I have analyzed what is the dialogues or what is the political debates in Odisha Legislative Assembly between BJD and BJP and Congress, where BJD is the running government and Congress and BJP is the opposition party in Odisha Legislative Assembly. And BJP government always said that the Navin Patnaik government is totally responsible for the Mahanadi River water dispute, because earlier the governments not serious about the Mahanadi dispute because they are not visualize the Mahanadi as an interstate dispute, and they try to politicize the issue for the party benefits of 2019 general election. And whereas one statement of the Arun Kumar Sahu, the MLA from Nagar, said that flood is ours and river is yours. One of the central concept that during the monsoon period, the Chhattisgarh government always release the flood water, which is danger for the people of Odisha or of the state of Odisha. And during the non-monsoon period, we are demanding water, and water crisis is one of the burning issue in Odisha. However, the BJP party said that central government tried to form a negotiation committee to resolve the dispute, but Odisha government not interested to participate in the negotiation committee. They are not cooperate with the central government to resolve the dispute. However, Congress party said that when the running government invited all party meeting, we are very seriously participate in the discussion and try to find and we discuss to find solutions. But BJD government said that there is a close nexus between Congress government said that there is a close nexus between the Chhattisgarh and central government and Chhattisgarh government over the Mahanadi dispute because of the running and some political party. And in the perception of conflict at the central level, I have discussed about what is the arguments and what is the voice of BJD MP in Indian Parliament and between the federal government. And in the civil society, I have discussed about what is the civil society, what is the demands of civil society of Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And Odisha people very much serious about the environmental concern of the Mahanadi River water, whereas BJD Chhattisgarh civil society, they said about the non-seriousness of the BJD government over the Mahanadi river water dispute. They said that due to the industrial diversion of river water, there is a possibility of the water pollution in the Mahanadi river water dispute. So this conflict really it is a contentious issue, and the stakeholder of the dispute or the nature of the dispute solely depends upon the needs or what is the or interest or power dynamics of the states, and they are federal institute is different. The BJD government said that I am doing everything, or I am doing best for the Mahanadi river dispute, whereas the opposition party said that the ruling government is not doing anything for the Mahanadi river water dispute. And from this, it is required to look at the federalism. Where is the federalism in the context of Mahanadi river water dispute? And in order to look at the federalism in the context of Mahanadi river dispute, it is essential to understand the various types of federal relations. And in the cooperative federalisms, as you know, the cooperative federalism is a model of government that encourages the central government and the state government to collaborate energetically and share power to work together to address a common issue with the federal systems. But there is no cooperation between in the federal structure. There is a cooperation between the center and the Chhattisgarh because they are running on the same political party. And the main argument of the BJD party that central government favoring the Chhattisgarh government to complete all their water project without listening the demands of the Odisha people, or without listening the request of the political leader of the Odisha. And we cannot say that it is a cooperative federalism. There is no cooperation between the triangle. There is no triangle cooperation in the Mahanadi river water dispute. And it is, we cannot call it is a cooperative federalism. Then it is a bargaining federalism. And it is a model of government where the center and state try to obtain the process of negotiation to resolve the dispute. And to resolve the dispute, the central government formed a 11-member negotiation committee. But Odisha government rejected the negotiation committee. Instead of the negotiation committee, requested a permanent solution to form the tribunal to resolve the ongoing water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. So we cannot call that it is a bargaining federalism. Then there is a competitive federalism. And competitive federalism, there is a competition between the states for resources and benefit and to avoid the cost. And there is a competition between two states. Odisha and Chhattisgarh government compete to divert the river water from the Mahanadi to the industrial sector, where Odisha state is struggling for the water, particularly for the agricultural sector, for the parent community, or for the fishermen community. So there is a competition over the resources for deeds and needs of the states. And in the conflicted federalisms, it is a model government which is characterized by the conflict among the various levels of governments. And this conflict emerged through opposing laws and regulation and disagreement in law. Odisha government said that without the permission of the government, Odisha government, Chhattisgarh government has structured the various water projects and various water projects for the industry sector. And here the federal government failed to navigate the manage the conflicts. So to resolve the dispute, one statement of our Deputy Chief Minister Kanak Bardhan Singh Dev said that to resolve the Mahanadi dispute, there is need of positive politics. Now, what is positive politics? It is a politics to resolve the dispute, and this politics can facilitate a consensus building with to find a solutions with the help of all stakeholders. And it is a positive politics that promote environmental stewardship to protect the health of the Mahanadi river. There is a complete separation of politics from the river water dispute. There is complete depoliticization. If the political party do not connect the Mahanadi issue as an agenda for politics, then there is the possibility of the positive politics, because it is totally a negative politics, and due to the negative politics, it is difficult to look at federalism, whether it is the cooperative federalism, whether it is the competitive federalism, whether it is the bargaining federalism, whether it is the conflicted federalism. So despite this, there are some deficiencies and shortcomings in the role of the state governments and the federal governments. And there are also some, I have made some suggestions for the state governments or the federal government to resolve the disputes. I have published some articles in the one from the UGC Callis Journal. Okay, sir. These are the Mahanadi River Water Dispute Discourse and Amalgamation of Politics, Power and Privatizations. Then another article revisiting the Indian federalism and overview of contemporary issues and challenges, a complete interplay of conflict, contradiction, and politics, understanding the Mahanadi River Water Dispute, and fight for lives, livelihood, and water rights, a tale of the Mahanadi River Water Dispute. And also I have presented 5 papers in international and national conference. Thank you.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you, Mukti. Thank you for your presentation. I think it's not so much easy to present whole thesis within 30 minutes. I think this thesis has some strength and some weaknesses also. So no doubt you have published some articles, you have presented, you have also got the citation. So congratulations for that. But I think the work is still, it is not end. I mean, you have to do many things before you publish your work as a book. So with this, I am first welcoming to Professor Ramkrishna Pradhan to this Viva once again, and ask him to make his comment or ask question so that the candidate will defend against your doubt, question, or queries, whatever you have. So yes.
Thank you, Himanshu. Good morning, everyone.
No, you are not audible.
Can't you hear me? Am I audible or not? Himanshu, can you hear me?
No, I can hear you, but there is an interactive panel. It's not working right now. So
Okay.
I think whatever you will ask, I think the candidate will listen to it, and
No
I
issue,
request
no
the
issue, no
candidate to request the candidate to speak that question which is asked by you. And Mukti, first you repeat that question, what is being asked by Professor Pradhan, and then you answer so that we can able to connect it, right?
Okay, good morning, everyone. The HOD of the department and the chairman PG Council, Sambalpur University, Rajat ji, my elder brother.
ठीक है wait करो.
Dedicated to, because this is a degree you can't dedicate. If you are writing a book, you can dedicate. Because this is not a degree, you are submitting a thesis to the university. It cannot be dedicated, but my knowledge goes. So the thing is that in future, coordinator, you please take care of this. This cannot be dedicated. If you are writing a book, you can dedicate. This is my only observation. Rest you please proceed.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. Pradhan sir, you can continue.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you once again, and good morning, everyone. The HOD of the department and the chairman, Postgraduate Council, Sambalpur University, Rajat ji, my elder brother, Rosni Kujru madam, and all other faculty members of the department, my former colleague and a kind of mentor to us, Professor Acharya sir, And the student of today's Viva was who is defending his thesis, Mr. Mukti Sahu, and his proud guide, Dr. Himanshu Sekhar Misra. First of all, I must congratulate both the guide and the student and also the university for promoting scholars on very, very relevant issues, timely issues, locating, I mean to say, the federalism in India, a case study of Mahanadi river water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Many a time what we do, we largely dwell into researches to get a degree only, and those researchers do not have any, I mean to say, practical implications. But here, what I believe, whatever research both the guide and the scholar they have smartly, selected is to do with the practical application of this research to two East Indian states, Chhattisgarh and Odisha. And we all know that river water has been a constant source of dispute between states, and it has also been an international dispute from the, the present scenario, which I can, tell you that Indus Water Treaty has been one such, magnanimous, treaty, but again, it is a source of conflict between India and Pakistan as well. So we can taking example from there can highlight that since the river is within Indian states, therefore it cannot have that kind of implications. But we know even recently Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, they are having problems with the Jamuna water, and South Indian state like Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and Kerala, including Pondicherry, they have problems with Kaveri and Krishna river waters. So river water has been an important federal questions in recent times, and that the reason I believe that whatever topic has taken for this research is truly, I mean to say, timing, having practical implications, isn't it? And if you look at, since July 2016, Odisha had started objecting to the construction of existing and proposed dams, isn't it? Which was done by Chhattisgarh, the Kalma river dam, and all this, isn't it? And that has led to a kind of confrontation between the two states, isn't it? And the way, isn't it? I mean to say, the research aims to study the diverse implications of the Mahanadi river water dispute, including its agencies, assumptions, and politics. And with the purpose of locating, isn't it, this issue within the premise of Indian federalism, I again, congratulate the guide and the student. And largely, the research aims to explore the various facets involved in sharing the Mahanadi river waters between the Indian state of Odisha and Chhattisgarh, including the origin, nature, scope, attitude, and role of the two states. The role and effectiveness of the Supreme Court of India cannot also be sidelined. The role of the Mahanadi Water Dispute Tribunal, the center's role in resolving the Mahanadi River Water Dispute, and the factor influencing Mahanadi River Water Dispute, they largely, can be seen within the premise of the federal question. In this direction, the study also investigates the reading of legislative deliberations about the Mahanadi water disputes in the Indian Parliament, decision-making capabilities of the respective riparian states, greater economic interdependence connected with the river water, and position of both the states in the said dispute seems timely and contribute significantly to the domain knowledge as an innovative addition to the existing study. I must tell you, in producing the evaluation of this uniquely conducted research, it gives me immense pleasure to state that this thesis undoubtedly make a distinct and valuable contribution to the academic, research and professional knowledge domain with regards to the federalism question, especially pertaining to the river water dispute between Odisha and Chhattisgarh. Throughout what I have seen and observed, the candidate has effectively demonstrated his broader understanding of conceptual issues in this and also in the related fields. As such, if I can, elaborate, the scheme of the study is divided into 649 chapters, including the introduction and conclusion. The introduction chapter of the thesis provides an effective overview of the focus of the investigation and the proposed investigatory framework. Research objectives are, clearly defined, and questions were put in such a manner as can be answered in the research work. The mainstay of this chapter, of course, is the interrogation of federalism question through a thematic review of literature. The objective of the study is aptly elaborated, yet the missing of the research gap and too much, I mean to say, lengthy objectives and I mean to say, proportionately lengthy research questions taken for consideration put the coherent and structure of the research into some kind of dilemma of otherwise a genuine research to examine the federal questions in the ambit of river water dispute. The statement of the problem formulated should have been done in the starting point of the thesis. But yet, nowadays, statement of the problem can be mentioned anywhere, isn't it? The thesis outline with a brief chapter design is wonderfully crafted to give direction to the study. A second chapter deals with review of literature. I need not to say anything on this, isn't it? And in the same vein, if you look at the third chapter deals with the data and statistics from the government of India, Odisha and Chhattisgarh, and provides a overview of the socio-economic profile of both the states. The fourth chapter unpacks the nature and scope of Mahanadi river water dispute. It discusses the economic and political dimension of Mahanadi water dispute, isn't it? And if you look in that sense, the fifth chapter highlights the role of Indian Parliament in the context of Mahanadi disputes, isn't it? The Lok Sabha things have been discussed amicably there. In the sixth and concluding chapter, perceptions of conflict over Mahanadi river water dispute, isn't it? Center and civil society's role has been, largely theorized and well, I mean to say defined as well. This chapter exposes that stakeholders of these conflicts are involved in different ways, isn't it? Depending upon their particular interest. And what I see, this thesis has done a wonderful job in, I mean to say, putting all the things into perspective. Largely, whenever a river water dispute comes, we see it from two states' perspective only, without I mean dwelling into the federal questions. Therefore, what I believe, the student and teacher, they have done wonderfully well in formulating the design to locate this river water dispute between the larger federal question. Therefore, once again, I congratulate both of them. Isn't it? There are certain remarks which I have given in my reports, but whatever remark was given, these were part and format as per the protocol of the reports that we generally write. But notwithstanding, the researcher has in fact done well in selecting an innovative theme of analysis, largely ignored so far in federalism study. As such, the detailed analysis of the theories of federalism under the ambit of water dispute make the study distinct and certainly contributes significantly to the domain knowledge and the associated field of study. Therefore, I recommend the study to be accepted and the researcher be awarded the Doctor of Philosophy in the concerned domain area. Having said this, I have a question for the scholar that since we all know that river water, sharing of river water has largely been remain a federal dispute, what would be your suggestion to come, overcome those kind of disputes between, Chhattisgarh and Odisha? Whatever may be your answer, I, do not, dwell into it. The reality is that you have done a wonderful job, and I congratulate you. And I recommend from my side, because there is a second, examiner as well. As far as my thing is concerned, I recommend, the scholar to be awarded with the PhD degree. You can answer these questions just to the audience sitting outside there as well, particularly to my elder brother Rajatji is sitting there. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Hello.
Yeah, please continue.
Sir, my suggestion to the riparian states or Odisha and Chhattisgarh or federal government is that Sir has raised question, what is your suggestion to the Chhattisgarh government, Odisha government over the Mahanadi river water dispute? It is an interested dispute, and when, as you know, that conflict, where there is conflict, there is politics. And high thinking political dialogue debates is very essential between Odisha and Chhattisgarh with the mediations of the federal government to resolve the dispute. And there is the absence of participations in the debate and discussion. So I would like to suggest to the federal government or to the disputant state that if they try to resolve the dispute without doing negative politics, they can do positive politics for the Mahanadi issue, and they should talk administratively or bureaucratically or at the level of the chief minister, and they should find a permanent solution to the river water dispute. And in this context, the federal government should play a proactive role to resolve the dispute. And without the involvement of the federal government, we cannot resolve the Mahanadi river water dispute. And I will suggest to the Odisha government that Chhattisgarh government has already constituted various dam and barrages for the Chhattisgarh. But if Odisha government will constitute several barrage and aqueducts in the lower part of the rivers, then this will help to store water during the monsoon period, and they can use this water during the non-monsoon period. This is my suggestion, sir.
Well done, Mukti. And
Thank you.
that's all from my side, Himanshu. You can now, proceed with your rest of the thing.
Thank you, Professor Pradhan. Okay. So with this, I am welcoming to my teacher, Professor Shamsundaracharya. He is the second, examiner of this work, and let's listen to his, comment to the scholar, and then the scholar will handle to his, questions. Okay. Thank you. Sir, you have to unmute. Acharya sir, you have to unmute yourself. Okay.
Now I am audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Yes. Dr. Misra, who is the chairman of this board of examiners, I mean, the esteemed PG Council chairman, Professor Pradhan, head of the department, the scholar, my friend Balgovind Babu, who is connected. I am very happy that he is connected, and all the students who are connected online. So I am very happy that the thesis has been focused on a very relevant topic, as Professor Pradhan has already pointed out. And I am very much attracted to the slogan of the post-behavioralists who wanted to counter the behavioralist craze for scientism, that it is better to be vague than non-relevantly precise. It is better to be vague than non-relevantly precise. That means emphasis was given on relevance. And the thesis, because of the ongoing dispute regarding the share of river water of Mahanadi between Odisha and Chhattisgarh, the central government also, and the constitution of the river dispute tribunal, and the result is yet to be known, the result being yet to be known. Naturally, the relevance nobody can deny. So the topic is very much relevant. I am very much happy for that. And relevant data have also been collected, except the assembly debates of Chhattisgarh assembly. The debates of parliament have also been included. So it makes the thesis very interesting that way. And the scholar has done very well to point out that if we want to solve the problem, the political rhetoric must be taken away. I don't know how far appropriate the word depoliticization is, because politics is everywhere. Politics we cannot escape, because that is the inescapable fact of human existence. We cannot escape politics. So how far relevant or appropriate the word depoliticization, I have some doubt. But the other portion, which the scholar has pointed out in his thesis, that political rhetoric should be taken away from the conflict. That is very interesting, because he has also unambiguously pointed out, and he has also put it here, that conflict is there. Where conflict is there, politics is there. That is very interesting. But in this case, conflict has been accentuated by politics. conflict has been regarding river water has been accentuated by politics and blown out of proportion also sometimes. And that too, different political parties trying to gain electoral advantage out of that. That is very bad, because you don't come to the source of the conflict, what is the exact nature of the conflict. And as has been rightly pointed out by the scholar in the thesis, that everybody knows what is the source of conflict, but everybody wants to divert attention from that source of conflict. Yeah, that is very good, because source of conflict is that both the states, they divert river water to the corporate sector, and they want to make water revenue. And the civil society of both the states, they have pointed out this, that river water is treated as a tradable commodity, is not treated as natural resource or natural source, but that is treated as tradable commodity. Everybody knows that, but they want to say that this is not the. They want to divert the attention by saying this is not the real source of conflict, or they don't know the exact source of conflict, and so many things are going on when this thing is not taken care of, when river water is commercialized or privatized or denationalized, whatever you say. These words have also found place in the thesis. I'm happy that he has put it very clearly. So he has also tried to locate federalism in the context of this case study, or in the context of this particular conflict. That he has done well. But I want to raise one question. And that too regarding methodology. And that I have also pointed out in my report, that the scholar says that he has used content analysis. And so far as content analysis is concerned, my point is that it should have been elaborated a bit, and the scholar should have taken care to say that which content he has tried to analyze, whether it is that of the newspaper, because newspaper, news items have been cited in the thesis, that is good. But which content has been analyzed? Whether newspaper content, whether the speeches of the leaders, because assembly debates have been incorporated and parliament debates also have been incorporated. Even the debates of the political leaders have also been included. So whether books, magazines, or newspaper, or the speeches of the leaders, which have been analyzed, that I would just want to know, and I want the scholar to make it clear. And I will also request the scholar that when the scholar goes for publication, he should make it very clear, very specific, that which content he has tried to analyze. And he can give also 1-2 examples or 2-3 examples, so that how he has emphasized on words, on themes, on concepts in the context of this content analysis will be made clear. Because content analysis also can lead to quantification. Content analysis also can lead to quantification. But here quantification is not done, that is not a problem. But what we want to be clear is in which context this content analysis has been applied.
Sir,
otherwise,
in my research,
yes,
yes, sir, yes, sir.
Yes. So let me complete. So the scholarly work I appreciate, and data, as I have already told, they are relevant, and the topic is also very relevant. But this methodology part needs a bit more elaboration, and especially this document analysis, content analysis, it should be clarified with a few examples, so that it will be very clear. It will not have any ambiguity. So let me ask the scholar to elaborate this point, and I wish the scholar all success. This is the stepping stone. This is the beginning. The research world is stepping into the research world, because when you complete your PhD, you just step into the research world, and you have to go a long way. So you have to take care of these facts when you proceed, when you go ahead. And I request the scholar to make a few comments on what I told you, or what I suggested.
Sir,
Thank you.
in my research, I have discussed about the theory and practice of federalism, sir. What theory says and what practice has been done in the Mahanadi River water disputes. And for this purpose, I have discussed the various debates in Odisha Legislative Assembly. What is the debates or legislative deliberations of MLA MLA in Odisha Legislative Assembly and MP in Indian Parliament in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and what the role of the central government on the issue, and how the central government try to resolve the dispute, and that is my discussion, sir. That is my point.
No, actually, I wanted to know that if you can give some examples how content analysis is used, or I just want to know that how the words have been taken care of, because you have mentioned in your research methodology portion that words, themes, they have been taken care of. So, if you can give some examples, that will be better. Otherwise, you take care of that. You take care of that subsequently.
Okay.
And
Okay.
you must be very clear when you say that this technique you have followed, then you must show that how you have followed this technique.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir.
I think, sir, I think you raised a very, I think it's a methodological, it's a very good question. I mean, we use content analysis that if we use secondary materials, and if you derive logic by reading the secondary materials, we generally say that we are using content analysis. But if you go to the definition of content analysis, it means you are interpreting, you are reinterpreting the words, terms, paragraph, meaning. So for that, I think you need a certain skill, right? And maybe you are referring to that skill. I mean, can you give an example of that skill where I will be convinced that you have used the content analysis? So it's a brilliant question. I think the straight answer is that this is something that we, the research scholar, including me, we should learn and continuously learn that how to use content analysis effectively. So thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
So now I am fixing for all audience. Now we have Professor Guru, Professor Bari, Professor Bhagovind Babu, Dr. Rajat Kumar Kutu, Dr. Shukni Puja, guest faculty Vijay, other Bena, and students are there. Now it's open. Now you can take your question and now. Please. Very sir.
So actually, we are unable to listen to the questions of the experts. I think there were two experts, Dr. Khyam attended, but you are answering their questions. What are their observations? I want to know.
Okay, I think Mukti, sir is asking that what are the questions they ask you. Sir, what to move?
First, question raised by Pradhan sir is what is your suggestion to the Odisha government? Odisha government and Chhattisgarh government to resolve the Mahanadi water dispute. As a scholar, what is your suggestion? And second one is what is the content analysis in your research methodology? Content analysis.
He asked a question based on methodology.
I think they are satisfied.
Yeah, from their report, I think they are more than
That I am asking.
yes.
That I am asking whether they are satisfied or not.
They are, but supervisor is still not satisfied.
Huh?
Supervisor is not still satisfied. Because I know the regulation. Yes, recommended, but yes, there are some points that we need to work on it. So no research work is completed. You cannot use the word I'm not satisfied. No, you are satisfied. Therefore, I have given, I have recommended because of the strength of the thesis, but there are some points. That's the we should not laugh. Yes, any questions, sir?
Sir, one question
Sir.
from
Sir,
sir.
I am not a political scientist, sociologist. You have to go into modern politics with reference
Sir, Acharya sir.
They have discussed about the political nature. Every river water dispute had
Give me
discussed
leave
about
नहीं sir.
the political
Sir,
dispute.
अपने पे जाई पारंगे. Acharya sir.
Mahanadi, and yes, sir. In Kaveri River water dispute, the federal government directly involved due to the same party ruling at the in Maharashtra. When Maharashtra opposed to the constructions of the dam and bridge in the lower part of the river, then federal government directly involved and directly formed the Kaveri River water dispute. But in Odisha, it is a Odisha government faced many challenges, and Odisha government requested the central government to form a permanent solution for the river water dispute. Bansadhara. Every river dispute is an ongoing river dispute, sir. No, I am not discussing much. No, sir. I have not. No, sir. Oh, sir, one question from online platform. One question. Sir.
How to justify that your research work will conclude with the concept of knowledge dispute? Justify the research. Because
Sir, I have discussed in my research work.
How it is? What is the focus of political science? We have what? How we have lost on that focus point of will it contribute to the concept of knowledge? Is it a research of political science? Why? Why?
Sir, in political science, there is a concept federalism, and I have discussed about the federal dispute. Sir, I have discussed about the federal dispute, and it is a dispute between the two states, Odisha and Chhattisgarh. And federal government failed to resolve the dispute due to the partial nature of the government. Yes. Yes.
So may I answer because I am the guide. Okay. See, can you? You answer na. You are the lecturer also. You are supposed to answer. Let me answer, sir. Since it's a very pertinent question, I think Easton is asking the same question that political science or research on political science should be relevant and how it should be relevant. It is because if we contribute to the main concern of political science, and what is the concern of political science? It's not permanent. It changes from time to time. So what is the nature of time today? The nature of time today is the conflict. And earlier also conflict was there. But today, conflict, the same conflict is coming in a new form. So I think in his work, he has dealt with the conflict, right? And he is saying that our federal system is unable to solve that conflict. In other sense, he's saying that the way conflict is being managed, it is not contributing to Indian federalism. We cannot say India is a cooperative federal state. We cannot say it's a bargaining federalism. We cannot say it's a competitive or conflicted federalism. So that's the discovery. Now to locate federalism, to contribute to federalism, we need some solution. We need solution-based politics. And today we are experiencing not solution-based politics. It is problem-creating politics. So as long as this negative politics will continue, the basic values mentioned in the preamble of Indian Constitution cannot be achieved. Why federalism? You can talk about socialism, you can talk about secularism, you can talk about democracy. So we feel as if things are, becoming so much failure. Yes, people will say that you are negative. It's a very you are pessimistic. But tell me, if you are optimistic, where the truth lies, right? So what we are experiencing, is it good? Is it good for our future? That's the question we need to ask and re-ask ourselves. I think that's the contribution of his work.
What is the newness of its work? What is its originality? What is sustainability in terms of its contribution? What is the newness?
No, I can answer you. But you are the scholar now. You are the
You are not able to articulate. What is the newness of your research work?
What is
So I have
the
discussed about the legislative debates.
I will discuss culture. I am not concerned about. I am concerned with the theme of your research.
Sir.
What is the newness, distinctive feature, originality of the research?
positive politics? Second,
So the researcher man of that you must become aware of it. These questions. Appeals to all of these.
I think the important contribution of this work to the whole academia is that we need to understand what is the negative politics, and we need to discover what is positive politics and what are the different means to achieve the positive politics. So I think that's the contribution. Already the Deputy CM, he has raised this issue or concept positive politics. I think now it is the responsibility of the academia to rethink about this concept, positive politics, the mechanism to develop, how to develop mechanism to do the positive politics. Right. So not only it is this positive politics is not only relevant to the nation state or state, it is also important for interpersonal relationship also. Positive politics. We should not lie, but at the same time we should be positive. Don't be optimistic. Be positive and be truthful. That's really our contribution to the academy. Okay, thank you, sir. Mukti, you are working with him, but you don't know. Yes.
So, first of all, I would like to thank Mukti
Sir.
for choosing this topic. This is one of the most important topics in the contemporary Indian politics. Because exactly, I'm not familiar with your thesis, I have not gone through your thesis. And I'm sure your supervisor must have guided you about the nitty-gritties of your complex topic. And also your examiners must have pointed out their viewpoints on this research work. So I'm not going to comment or question on that part. But I would like to do it, what I understood from your presentation, that you have looked at politics from a particular angle in your thesis. But I gather that you have looked in your thesis to politics as an art of possibility. You have looked to politics as an art of possibility. And while you are looking at politics as an art of possibility, you have also examined that how federalism, when conceived, when conceptualized, how federalism was conceptualized to become an art of possibility in the context of Indian politics. Because India is a very vast state. India is a very vast state of lots of diversity. And that is why federalism was conceptualized to tackle with all those diversities. And over the years, we have seen how federalism transformed, how federalism has dealt with different issues, different complexities, different diversities. And that's where comes the question of river or the interstate river. Because in India we have a large number of rivers who goes through different states. At that point, there remains a question where the conflict or the interstate conflict arises. Look, when we talk of conflict in international politics, I'm a man of international politics. International politics, when we look at conflict, we say that if at all there will be a third world war, it will be on the issue of war. Look what happened when Indo-Pak recently entered into the conflict. The first thing that India did was to cancel or withhold the Indus Treaty. So this is where water becomes very, very important for domestic as well as international work. And that's the reason, that's the beauty of your work, that you picked up a very pertinent issue, very timely issue. And I would rather suggest to work more, and I would rather like to put you some more work on this, put some more muscles on it so that you can go for its communication. And one more thing I would like to suggest, go for a field work. It needs to field work.
Yes, sir. Yes, thank you.
Let me, thankful to Dr. Kujur. It is expected actually. And when you intervene, it provokes me that what we left actually. So what we left basically that this inter-state or inter-water conflict, it's not a national issue. It is also an international issue. And there is a national in international and international in national. National and international are not separated. Now, it's a point, I learned it from Professor Ram Reddy. He was supposed to give a talk, nationalism in internationalism. He was supposed to give a talk on that. But due to some situation, we could not arrange it. But this national and international, it is not, mutually completely exclusive to each other. There is an inclusive relation. So inter-water dispute, is it a national issue or is it an international issue? Now, as an international issue, how this inter-water conflict contributes to the discourse on conflict. As a national issue, how it is contributing to the conflict discourse on conflict. I think for that we need a different research actually. We can have a comparative study of inter-water dispute from national and from international perspective. We can do a comparative research on that. So thank you, Dr. Kuju. As usual, it is expected. Thank you so much. Now it's yes, Pratyush, you come. Mukti.
I would just make the argument taken forward by the producer. About the idea of water, I think in long C. Clark, he had written a book on the resource wars, in which he had said that water will be one of the main pivots on which international and national or domestic wars will be fought. And so, as we also know, that the Arab Spring and all the different wars, the whole Middle Eastern area, it is in a state of flux, mainly because of the limited resources that different kinds of people they want to achieve. Even all the terrorism that we see around, there may be a kind of a religious angle, but very often there is a deeper resources angle attached to it. For example, the Fulani tribes of the Sahara Sahel region. So they are essentially fighting over basic land and water resources. So in this context, in which we see in the future, water is something that will be recognized by different countries, different communities, on which wars will be fought, identities will be created, even things like states and terrorism will be undertaken. So in this context, have you created some kind of framework in which you can offer the world that this is the framework through which future politics based on sharing water resources may be carried out? Or any insight throughout your studies in the domestic?
Please repeat again your questions.
In the in which water is emerging as one of the fulcrums in which international domestic politics will be done and is being done. And also we know that water is something that all our civilizations have been water-based. Indus Valley civilization, Egyptian civilization, Chinese civilization. And so water has always been central to politics, society, religion, everything. And so in this context, so through your research, have you found some insights, some kind of angles through which future conflicts or future identity making, etc., can be approached? So
Future?
In the future, like if a similar work on something in the Water Treaty, which was considered sacred for the time being, it had withstood for followed was, but still now it has been weaponized by India. And so water is again seen as something which can be weaponized or which has always been weaponized. So in this context, in which water is seen as a weapon of international politics or an instrument of politics, so have you found some insights, some any kind of advice you like to give to the future policymakers that how things can be sorted out when it concerns water?
Sir, my suggestion is that water is essential for the livelihoods or human beings. Water is essential for the industry also. Water is essential for the agriculture also. But there must be a certain policy from the federal government, and in this country the national water policies will be active when our national water commissions or the federal government, the central institutions of the federal government should be active how to resolve the dispute and how to distribute the river between the two states. The demands of the state is different. Demand of the Odisha is different, and demand of the Chhattisgarh is different. But here, my suggestion is that there is needs of proactive rule of the federal government, and proper rules and regulations will be formulated to maintain the ecological balance of the river on one hand and to fulfill the basic demands of the riparian states. This is my suggestion.
They are divergent views, or do they collaborate with each other regarding the water? And the second one is regarding the nature of the state in both the states, because in both the states, the other time, Chhattisgarh has its own government, different government, and in Odisha it was BJP government. So it plays an intricate relationship, right? When we understand the idea of water, because everyone tries to put pressure to the central government to bring the notion of water to themselves, right? So my point is, and as I remember, George William Federalism, he used to tell this theory that state is one of the important aspects to control the civil society. The civil society or the individual cannot be controlled by themselves. It is the state. So my point is how you collaborate and how you negotiate kind of water when it comes to water, because water is something which is essential for the state, essential for the civil society, and essential for the that is. And the third one is the water flows from the off to the down, right? Odisha is in the down because it comes from the Amarkantak that area. So when it comes to this Chhattisgarh, Chhattisgarh has built its own that area. Yeah, so there is an artificial construction there. So in that context, how do you manage the situation? I mean, that's the question.
Thank you. First question is the role of civil society. In the Mahanadi water dispute, civil society played an important role. It highlights the needs of the society, needs of the riparian community, needs of the Odisha, and needs of the Chhattisgarh. And when we talk about the role of the civil society in Odisha, the Mahanadi Bacha Andolan played an important role. And one of the watermen of Odisha, Ranjan Panda, said that it is a superficial political conflict between Odisha and Chhattisgarh, it is a superficial political conflict between the BJP and BJD. They are very serious for their party benefits, but they are not thinking about how to resolve the Mahanadi disputes. They are used the Mahanadi as a commercial entity, but they are not treated. It is a river for the peoples of Odisha or peoples of the Chhattisgarh. So civil society, there is needs of civil society. There is the active participation of the civil society to resolve the dispute. And in my suggestions, I have mentioned about the in my research, it is found that the civil society of Chhattisgarh, they have highlighted regarding the pollutions of the river, regarding the ecology of the river. Whereas the civil society of Odisha, they have discussed about the ecology of the river, and they have discussed about the non-seriousness of the Odisha government or the rural government to resolve the disputes. And in your second question, that is the what is the role of the both states, Chhattisgarh and Odisha? There is needs of discussions and dialogues are prerequisites for resolving the Mahanadi river water dispute. And to resolve the dispute, there is need of data. What is the use of water by the Chhattisgarh? What is the use? What is the water used by the Chhattisgarh? Here, recently, the Mahanadi Tribunal requested both Odisha and Chhattisgarh, kindly share your factual data. What amount you have used in your industrial sector, in your agricultural sector, but both governments, they are not able to share the factual data on the river water dispute, on the use of the river water. So there is needs of debates and dialogues. There is needs of high-level talk between the Chief Minister. There is needs of Water Resource Secretary, then Chief Secretary, Chief Minister talk to resolve the dispute. And peace building exercise are very important between the two states to resolve the dispute. If they not talk about the dispute, then it is not possible to resolve the dispute, because they are not think that it is an issue. Priyaranjan Sahu, one of the journalists from Odisha, he said that both Odisha and Chhattisgarh, they are not thinking that Mahanadi is an interstate issue. It is an issue of the federal government. And another is Rasmita Patra from Odisha, one of the environmentalists. She is a researcher from Banaras Hindu University. She said that government used the Mahanadi issue as an agenda for the party benefits. They make three criticisms to the Mahanadi water dispute, that BJD government not serious for the Mahanadi river water dispute. They have talked many times with the federal government, and federal government, the reply for the federal government is that it is not an interstate issue, but the BJD government tried to use the issue as an agenda for the party benefits. So both central government and state, there is a tripartite discussion with the realistic data, with the what is the facts and figures over the use of the Mahanadi river dispute in particular two sectors, because it is a conflict between the agriculture and industry. Agriculture, it is the needs of the state of the Chhattisgarh, whereas it is the needs of the state of Odisha is the agricultural sector. So there is a exchange of peace building exercise is very important to resolve the disputes.
Okay, so thank you, Mukti. So before I go to Guru sir, I am also the internal examiner. I have also raised one or two comments. Right. So my first comment is that this positive politics, the concept has been given by the Kanak Vardhan Singh Dev, part of the BJP, and BJP was also involved in the negative politics. So merely saying positive politics is not all about doing positive politics, right? So my question in this connection is that why MLAs and MPs were not doing positive politics over the Mahanadi water dispute? If they have not done it in the past, then can they do it in the future? Can we hope? I mean, what is your thought on it? Is it really possible to do the positive politics in current scenario? My first question. And my second question is this, that as a supervisor, I also know, but I think the audience must know, you have not taken Chhattisgarh
Yes.
into account. When you are dealing with conflict between the Odisha and Chhattisgarh, then you should also deal with the views of Chhattisgarh, MLA, member of Legislative Assembly of Chhattisgarh. So on these two, I think I need a clarification. I know, but let the audience know your stand.
My suggestion in the thesis was to regarding the positive politics, but such as asked about the future of the positive politics. Positive politics means, yes, sir. It is the positive politics means a politics where there is needs of engagement of the leaders with a peaceful manner. They should discuss what is the real issue, how to resolve the dispute, and where there is a needs of inclusive decision-making process.
Solution-based politics.
This positive politics can help.
When the consequences of politics, whether positive or negative, politics lead the decision making in a situation of conflict. So the consequences of the decision are maybe negative. So why positive? It is the journalistic use of the term, or it is the use of the term by a specialist.
No, I think that it's not the positive lies at the consequence.
Yes.
Positive is also lies to the approach. So if you are dealing with a conflict with positive approach, then it will lead to positive consequence, right? So a positive consequence can be brought only with a positive engagement with the conflict. And
So how do you call it positive politics?
positive basically,
Actually, the mindset of the decision maker.
positive basically, I think he has defined in his work, in the context of interstate water dispute, the depoliticization of the conflict.
Politics is neither positive nor negative. It is a decision-making process where decisions are made in a situation of conflict. The consequences may be beneficial or positive, may be negative. How do you say it about politics? I think that it is a populistic use of the term, used by the politicians, the journalists.
I get that.
Not
Answer has been
the
given by the Honorable CEO.
Yes, he's a politician.
Yes. Politician. That was my question. I mean, a man who is talking about positive politics is involved in the politics.
He's positive.
It's the politics of positive politics.
He's positive.
There are states where it can never be feminine or masculine. Similar is the case.
Now, I think depoliticization of water conflict is required in order to solve the water conflict. Otherwise, it will continue.
You may say it is there is need for a humanitarian approach, a developmental approach.
You can include it. So positive politics includes the humanitarian approach to the conflict. Okay, you can say that. I don't have any problem with that. So,
We are not the ordinary individuals there, and we are following the
so with this, I'm inviting Professor Guru to see. He was the DSC member of this thesis, and I must be thankful to him because he has given a very good framework. If you see the chapterization, it is his contribution only, right? So I am requesting Professor Guru to give his observation as a participant, as a DSC member.
enlightened. Yes.
Yes. Enlightened academicians and my dear scholars present here. There are only two persons who are not my students. One is Professor Balgovind Babu, another is Professor Barik. The rest of you are either my direct students or students like. So far as this meeting is concerned, I would like to draw your attention to the topic on which the PhD degree would be awarded to the candidate Mukti Sahu. In that context, I must tell you, I've gone through the report of the external examiners. There are two external examiners to evaluate the thesis of Mukti. And both the examiners, as I go through it, I perused it. Both the examiners say in one voice that it is an excellent piece of research, a uniquely conducted piece of modest research. Both of them agree with it. This is the credit of the candidate. Therefore, I must congratulate Mukti Sahu in doing such an excellent piece of research. As an expert, member of the DSC of the candidate, I am associated with this research of Mukti from the date of registration till the submission of this thesis, and have gone through every stage of the research work that he has done. I am proud of the hard work he has undertaken. I am proud of the fact that he has obeyed and acted accordingly in accordance with my guidance in proceeding in the sphere of research, in conducting that research work. As an expert member of the DSC of the candidate, I must tell you that this is not merely a piece of excellent research. This has not only been corroborated by the external examiners here in their reports in one voice, but at the same time, I must tell you from my experience, my observation, that this is the best piece of research in this department submitted under the nodal center of the department during the last 15 years, specifically from 2010 till date. This is the best piece of research that I have seen it. And here lies the credit of the candidate and also credit of the supervisor, Himanshu. I congratulate Mukti. I also congratulate the supervisor. I doubly congratulate the supervisor because this is his first research production of first research scholar. So both of them need essentially applause, academic applause. Now, as an expert member of the LC and also as a member of this meeting, I would like to move a resolution. The House would resolve that in view of the quality of research, excellent quality of research undertaken by Mukti, the degree of PhD in political science be awarded to him by Sambalpur University. Your approval is awaited. Approve the resolution with claps. Thank you all. Again, congratulations to Mukti and congratulations to the supervisor, Himanshu. Thank you.
So thank you, sir. I think whatever you have said, it is because of the report only. I think since you are engaged with this work, and when you see the report, I think it is a matter of pleasure for you as well. Right. So I think it's not so much easy to work with me because I'm a person who is not satisfied. In this moment also I said that I am not satisfied, and Guru sir corrected me that you should say that you are satisfied, right? So I think I have little knowledge, but if you want to reach to that little knowledge, you have to do a hard work, because I need a convincing reply with theoretically depthness. And I always put the external member of my scholars as the best person. I think I put Professor Guru. I also put another British Professor Singh, Professor Jananan Swami is there. So it's an odds for me that if the research work is, if a researcher is doing a work, he should produce the standard work at least. I understand that we are doing the social justice, not the SU and JNU. We are actually practicing the social justice. We don't have brilliant, students the way, our teachers said in JNU or Hyderabad University. So with this, I am ending this session.
What is the units of research?
Let me thank you all, and with this I am declaring the end of this event. So thank you so much.
For your information, I am not telling what is the units of research they are going to take.